Hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. And get you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head. Get you out of my head just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat of time, I've crossed the ledge just to tell you. Don't lead the way, don't leave a say that I drown with a child's play in the rain. I feel like I'm fading. Come on, give it all you got. You're trying to save me, but you're making it all worse. Every time you hear these words, I'll be down the road, cause I know the odds are better on my side. Why don't you try to be wise? Oh, help me, I'm calling you cry. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat of time, I've crossed the ledge just to tell you. Don't lead the way, don't leave a say that I drown with a child's play in the rain. I feel like I'm fading.
Hello, hello, hello. It is Sunday, and this is Point of View, your favorite Sunday sports stream, and I severely need to change that intro to jazz it up a little bit sometime soon. But I'm joined here by a couple of great gentlemen. Right to my side there, it's old Ed. Ed, how are you doing this morning?
Doing all right. Last show for about a week or so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, glad to have you here before everything goes down here this week, and wishing the best for you as well too. And down below me right there, it's Andre C. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been up since about 6 time. Got up, watched the replay of the Chinese Grand Prix. It was good morning. I ate some leftover pizza, having a coffee. Good morning. It's good morning.
Nice. Yes, it is a good morning. Happy to have you guys here. We will be going into our big topic eventually. I know we had a good conversation going before we went live here about John Cena's heel turn promo. But before we get to that, I had Andre, of course, as the resident F1 guy here, because Mark is still under the weather and will hopefully be joining us back again next Sunday. Why don't you give us the latest on the F1?
Just a really good race at a China at a Chinese Grand Prix in China. There, really good race. F1, McLaren's still leading the F1, getting the 1-2 finish. Piastri actually winning after last week, kind of going off the track and then recovering to come in ninth. He won this week with Lando Norris coming in. It's like a good race. The end of the race was really interesting because 3 cars actually got disqualified after the race was over. I'm not super familiar with like a lot of the technical aspects of those things. Again, I've only been watching for a couple of years. So I haven't learned a lot of that kind of stuff yet. But yeah, so after the race, because Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc coming in like 5th and 6th. So high point totals to get in that race. But Charles Leclerc, along with another racer, Pierre Gasly, were disqualified due to their cars being underweight, and Lewis Hamilton was disqualified for excessive skid wear. Again, I've only been watching these races for a couple of years now, so I'm not super familiar with a lot of that. That's where I wish Mark was here to talk about with me. But it was a really good race. It's just seeing guys coming up from underneath to really like Williams this year, who's been a team that's been right at the bottom of the standings for as long as for like so many years now, have had Alex Albon, I think 5th or 6th last week. He came in 9th today. So like he's putting up good points for the team and he's giving them finishes that they haven't seen in a long time. And it's just really interesting race because we had Mercedes dominate for so many years. You had Red Bull dominate for the last few years. Now you have McLaren and really being that top tier team now. And with Mercedes right there, Red Bull having a bad day with one of their drivers. I think he came in like 16th or 17th, like really bad positioning. And their other driver, Max Verstappen, multi-time world champion, coming in, I think he moved up to like 4th with the disqualifications. But yeah, it's really weird to see Red Bull sitting in such an odd positioning this season and just not having that, being that dominant force anymore. But it was a really good race. Highly recommend anybody go check out on YouTube, the F1 YouTube page. Hit the Chinese Grand Prix highlights. Again, in about 20 minutes, you can see what I watch over 2-hour span. They can give you all the highlights but again, they do it really well for those who live and you don't want to sit down for the 2 hours and rewatch the race. Like there's times last year that there's races I missed and I couldn't get it. And it was later in the day. I didn't want to watch a full 2-hour race. So you watch the 20-minute highlights and it gives you really everything you need to know about the race. And then I haven't seen much for the post-race stuff yet because when that stuff was coming on, I decided I wanted to get my coffee and get my food ready. So, but yeah, it was a good race. I really enjoyed it this year, and it was just funny to see Ferrari getting disqualified out both of their cars and just getting zeroed out this race, which is funny because Lewis Hamilton coming in 8th, was it 8th? I think 8th or 9th last week, and then this year I think he was in 5th. He moved to Ferrari this year, and I know Mark's a big Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton guy. So I'm really going, man, was this the right choice? Because even his teammate who had a broken piece come off his front wing, it screws up your aerodynamics a bit, outpaced him in this race. So, yeah. Which one do I use, boys? Which one do I use?
The broken one. The only one that should matter. The broken one.
The OG.
From when you tore it apart. When you tore apart his heart.
You sure did.
Oh, wait, I got to see a cool video of STG playing a video game the other day. It was really nice.
You know, my favorite part of this
face?
No, I did not see STG's face.
Just the video.
Okay. Hands. Just his hands.
No.
So, Andre, my favorite part of you talking about F1 here is talking about the cars that got disqualified for being underweight. And I've got this vision in my head of like the weigh-in of cars, like 2 cars rolling up like they do in like a UFC type square down or something like that to see it if they make the weight category for going out there. And man, that's all I've got running through my head right now. It is absolutely brilliant.
Having been at NASCAR and having been on pit road before, during, and after races, it's so interesting to watch post-race inspection where every car has to go through it. And they physically, in NASCAR, because unlike in Indy, all the cars are almost exactly the same in almost every way. They physically have like a template. And they put this template on your car. And if your car doesn't match the template to the T, you're disqualified. And then they have a variety of other things that they do. And weight is one. Weight isn't as important there as it is obviously in Indy, where you can pull little things out. You can
not Indy F1. Indy's its own mess.
Same bullshit. Different.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's the exact same thing. Just different.
Indy is its own mess, but F1. Yeah, like weight of the car on how it's going to balance taking the tight turns and everything. Yeah. And then they also weigh the drivers after the races too. Because I know they do that in NASCAR too, because you're in those vehicles for so long, the amount of water. Okay, I do have a question, because in F1 you can't. There's no way you can rehydrate in your car. Is there in NASCAR? Because I know there's a lot more room. Do they have water bottles in there? Okay.
They have water bottles. They also have some of the suits have an ability to get water, I believe, too. Yeah, I've been out of it. I've been out of it for so long, though. So
yeah, as far as I know, F1 doesn't have that. I could be wrong. I don't know. But again, these guys get into such a tight cockpit and their helmets, everything. It doesn't look like there's any way for them to drink water. And again, so that's why I asked. I thought there was a way in NASCAR. Again, never a big fan of that.
And NASCAR pit stops also take, between 10 and 20 seconds as opposed to 5 in Indy and Formula One.
I was watching the race this morning, and the dudes were coming out at 3.1, 3.2 off their tire changes, and I'm like, man, that's way too slow. Because the best teams, like some of the best pit stops, you can get that under 2 seconds. That is crazy. So
well, that's also because those teams have the ones that lift the entire car at once. And they change all 4 tires at once, which in NASCAR, it's you change one set of tires with the jack, then you run around the other side, jack it up, do the whole so it's slightly different. But then again, that's a huge weight difference. A NASCAR car is essentially a street car versus Formula One and Indy cars, which are
it's not like they're light, but they're far lighter than anything we've ever driven in our lives. And they're meant for aerodynamic speed and everything. But again, there's still weight issues, and it's all about that. But
an ounce or two either way on a Formula One car or any car like that can be the difference between 20 miles per hour.
100%, 100%. And it's funny that one of the cars that was getting screwed up is one of the ones that is Lewis Hamilton, who was having pacing issues with the car. He was the teammate who was pacing behind, which is funny because I laugh at that. And then Charles Leclerc, I don't know if it had to do with his front. Lewis Hamilton was due to the excessive skid wear. But Leclerc, it might be due to the wing breaking off, the front wing breaking off, and not getting a front wing change the entire race. That little piece can create a weight difference, so that might be it. But the race stewards investigated it and decided he didn't have to change the wing. So, you don't know, right? So, yeah.
Like I said, Mark can update us next week about it.
Yes. Well, yeah. And then I think the next race is in a couple weeks. The Japanese Grand Prix is on Saturday, April 5th at 11 p.m. So I'll be able to watch it live after I get home from wrestling. Which I was at a wrestling show on Friday.
Nice. Which one?
I went to a Real Canadian Wrestling. Really good show. Bobby might know Mr. Steve Wild or know of him.
I know of him. Yeah.
Yeah, so we here, me and the Horde are not big fans of. Me and the Horde are not big fans of Mr. Steve, as we call him, Mr. Steve Not So Wild. But he was facing one of my favorite wrestlers in Barricade last night. Big old boy, just like us, Ed. And they had the most entertaining match I've ever seen Steve Not So Wild have. it was so much fun. It was so much cheating, but in the greatest way. The ref just couldn't figure out why his weapon hid, kept switching between this like armband and his boots and his tights throughout the entire match, just kept moving it. Every time he used it, he put in a different point. It was so good. And I've seen this dude wrestle Son of Irish, and this was the best match I've ever seen him have.
Nice.
And you know how good Soy Boy is. So
yeah. No, I've always enjoyed him out here, but no, that sounds like it was a lot of fun. Any other notable matches or?
Soy and his new tag partner Krieger, the Timu Diesel, as we call him, defeated the Rads for the RCW International Tag Team Championships.
Oh wow!
Let's go for Rich. That's not nice.
Yeah, Rich and TY lost the titles. I'm a little sad about that. They looked a little sad after the match, but we'll see. But yeah, and then really great open arc and Jericho Cruise Oceanic Champion Mo Jabari. So I got to chat with him, telling him how much I appreciated watching him last weekend on the MLP shows. So he came out to the ring and after his entrance, and I'm just like, MLP, and he's like, what? And I'm like, last weekend. He's like, oh yeah. I was like, freaking idiot.
He's so busy. He's already forgotten within that amount of time.
But I thought it was hilarious that he forgot. Like it hadn't even been a week. This was on Friday night. It had been 6 days since he worked the Saturday show. I laughed.
Andre distracting the talent as always.
With the wrong chance. He's one of them.
Me and Adam were loud. We were obnoxious, but we were never cruel because we're not mean. We just like to have fun and enjoy. And I assume Basser is the same way when he's at a show. I assume.
Oh, I can see Basser getting a little rude if Little Bass isn't there with him.
Oh, when Little Bass wasn't there, Big Bass used to get right into it with the entire crowd and everything. They are still, I mean, with Lil Bass they're still loud and obnoxious, just in a more
respectful,
family-friendly sort of a way. But of course, like, it doesn't matter regardless. I mean, there's shit being said by everybody else as well, too. So if your kids are there, they're going to hear these chants that are being made and comments being made and stuff like that. So you're exposed to it regardless, whether or not you try to personally protect them or not, kind of thing.
Hey, did you go to Chaotic this weekend? Wasn't
Chaotic is Friday night, and I will be unavailable.
This coming. I thought because you guys talked about it on this Thursday show, so I thought the show was this past Friday.
No, unfortunately, because of the time frame of the quiz, we had to do it a little bit early.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because of surgery, I'll be unable to take my ringside seat, and I'm very angry about that.
Boo earns.
Yeah, so I'm looking into divvying off that seat to somebody else so that somebody else can enjoy a nice front row seat for Chaotic this week.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show. Go check out Chaotic Wrestling over on Twitch and YouTube, where you can watch Cold Fury for free. For free. Gotta love when indie promotions give stuff for free. But let's go into the big topic of the day, gentlemen, because I know we had a really good conversation going before things started off here tonight. The John Cena promo from this week, the heel promo that was. And I'm going to give you the floor first here, Ed, and then we're going to go to Andre. I mean, I'll just say quickly that, Ed, when we were chatting, I was saying, like, I love the way that John Cena did his promo. The promo I thought was great. I didn't care much for Cody coming out and having real no fire. I think that Cody should have come out and wanted to really slug John Cena for everything that's been going on. I think it would have amped it up a little bit more, but that's not taken away from Cena. I'm on the side of enjoying it. Ed, I want to hear your side of this, and then we're going to go over to Andre and then let the battle commence from there.
So I think the one thing we can all agree on is when somebody turns heel, we expect some kind of a change from them. And 9 times out of 10, this is always like new graphics, new way to dress, new music. And through the weeks, we've been waiting for the heel promo, and we've been waiting and waiting. And everybody was like, I wonder what his new music's going to be. I wonder what this is going to be. I wonder what that's going to be. And Cena, understanding the business the way he does, and for all his many faults, and believe me, there are many faults for John Cena. The one thing you can always say is that John Cena's always understood the business of professional wrestling. He's understood the psychology of how to either get on the fan side or make them hate him. Whether he was doing it the right way or the wrong way, he always figured out those kinds of things. To come out to the same music with the same attire for the retirement tour, but to change up everything else about his entrance. Instead of talking to Stu, he just walks out and looks around. Instead of holding up the camera that towel nice and neat so we can all read it, he just kind of hangs it off to the side in one hand. He then walks to the ring instead of running. Like, these are the smallest little things that 90% of professional wrestlers wouldn't even think about. But those were the pieces that made the John Cena heel turn work. Because he's no longer doing it for us. He's doing it for him. And then we get into the promo. And this is the part that will have some people, me and Andre, back and forthing on whether or not we like it or not. I love the idea that after being the company guy, that after 25 years of doing things the way everybody wanted him to do them, he's like, you guys have sat here and shit on me for 25 years, and all I did is sit here and take it. And I'm done with you, and I'm done with all of this, and I'm doing this for me, and I'm getting my 17th championship. To the point where we have John Cena doing this to a child.
What have you ever done to support me, huh?
I love you!
Have you? Everybody, including that one kid right there, is a toxic.
Look at that child's heartbreak. Right there.
I love it.
This
That
poor Belgian
fuels me.
child who's at his first ever live televised WWE show, who
Oh, that
doesn't
makes me
even
so happy.
understand what's going on, just had his heart broken by his hero in the center of the ring. Look at this poor child's heartbreak. Look at him.
It's the things that fuel you in life is watching children's hearts break. It's the great moments of life, you know.
Do you guys recall the Simpsons episode where the heartbreak with Ralph Wiggum or whatever? It's like, Lisa, if you play it in slow motion, you can see the moment when his heart splits into two.
Yeah. I just, oh my God.
I love that.
That is such a perfect, like, you literally see the heartbreak out of this poor child. And love it or hate it, whatnot. This is how you know that the John Cena heel turns worked. Because we've talked as wrestling fans for how many years have we talked about how John Cena needs to turn heel, how great a John Cena heel turn would be. But the downside would be that no matter how you turn John Cena heel, he's always going to get cheered. WWE figured out a way to make the people boo John Cena. Right,
Yeah.
wrong, or indifferent, whether you like the toxic relationship style promo or not. And again, I'm in favor of it, but because I think you people promos almost never work because it's just such a cliche kind of thing. But I think the one guy who can get away with it is a guy like John Cena because of the fact that he's literally been through this for 20 years. He brings up the Cena wins lull section of his career where he's like, I won and I won and I won, and it wasn't enough. It's just such good emotional stuff. And yes, there needs to be more, and I'm hoping that there will be. But I love that this is the first initial thing that we get.
Now, before we go to Andre, hold on. I just wanted to. We'll get through the comments, and then Andre.
I disagree with this comment.
Yeah. Well, it's Brian. Brian, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. John Cena is representative of the worst period of WWE garbage. Well, I mean, that's not so much a stretch.
That's not true. The worst point of garbage was the early to mid 90s. We all know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the new generation era's got some issues. Attitude era,
it did, but arguably it gave us some really great stuff too, like Brett No, and it gave us Bob Backlund and Brett. Like, I mean, there was a lot of. But
it also gave us Diesel versus Mabel as the SummerSlam main event, Bobby.
Okay, but what era of wrestling doesn't have that shitty type of booking in it at some point in time?
And you can argue with it about all of it, because like in the worst era, you had John Cena versus CM Punk, great rivalry. You had a great rivalry. Well, not every match was perfect. A great rivalry between Edge and John Cena. Great rivalries there. You had a lot of great stuff in that era. You can't just say John Cena is the worst era, because there's a lot of great from his era too. Like especially Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand. One of the greatest reactions I've ever seen was Cena throwing the shirt out and the shirt coming back. Like that's one of the greatest moments I've ever seen as a professional wrestling fan. But to John Cena's promo, like I appreciate what he did. Don't get me wrong. I just don't care for it. I don't care the winning because I don't believe it. I don't believe anything. I don't believe it. Like I believe when he was the people that booed against him for all those years, I believe that bothered him his entire career. I truly believe that. But when he went after the people that supported him was when the promo became disingenuous to me. Because I don't believe it. Because we all know who John Cena the man is. The man who has granted more wishes than any other person in history for Make-A-Wish Foundation. This man loves his fans. This is the support that he gets at everything. Like, there's so many videos and pictures out there of John Cena just randomly out doing something in his day, and a kid has a John Cena shirt on and sees him and wants to take a picture with it just in everyday life, and he does it. He is legitimately one of the, like, if you believe everything that's out there, one of the genuine nicest people in this world. That's where him turning on the fans that supported him, and like the kid line was great. I love watching it. I love watching a child's heart break. But again, believe it. That's my issue. Is I as a wrestling fan, I don't believe what he's saying because it feels disingenuous to me, because we all know who John is. Now the mannerisms, not changing his music, the slow walk, the pauses in the promo, so good. The presentation was amazing. The first half of the promo was very good. Oh God, I hate the Young Bucks. You know I hate the Young Bucks. STG, they are garbage. Their in-ring is phenomenal. Their character-wise, I can't stand them as characters anymore. But it's disingenuity that I think, for me as a person who follows professional wrestling and has been as deep into it as I have, and knowing who John Cena is as a person, as a human, it to me comes off super disingenuous. The back half of his promo and him attacking those that supported him, because it's like, no, you don't believe any of this. I appreciate Viction, everything he did, but it's like, I don't believe this because you don't believe this, because it's not true. And that's where it kind of falls into place. But like, I'm sitting here waiting for Raw to start, and I ended up watching it late, right? Because I was working out that evening, didn't get a chance to get home. I ended up turning a Raw on at 9:30 at night my time. So after it's over, and I'm thinking, turn it on. I knew it was going to be the first thing. Oops, I forgot to turn my ringer off. I'm a jerk. Sorry, boys. But I'm thinking. I'm like, please come out the bad man. Like, I was just watching that video the other day, the A-Team music video he did. I wanted him to come out the bad man, be wearing the suit. But then I hear the music hit, and he comes out wearing his gear, and I'm like, okay. So for everybody that that wanted to see the change, he just pissed them off.
Mm-hmm.
Because he pissed off everybody that was looking forward to seeing in a shoot John Cena, that looking forward to seeing Hollywood John Cena. He just pissed all of them off, which got me a little, because I was like, I wanted Hollywood John Cena. That's what I wanted. But what we got for the most part was good, except find some of it disingenuous. But again, I think they're doing a good job at work. And again, we had a conversation about it. There's still 5 more weeks of John Cena being able to build to being the biggest heel in professional wrestling. And he's doing it. I just didn't like certain parts of it, personally.
Now, to counter your argument here, in a sense, it's like you say that based on our knowledge of what John Cena is like, the smiling John Cena, the take a picture with the fans John Cena, but we also know that he is essentially always been corporate John Cena. He did what was best for business. So smiling John Cena, take a picture with the fans John Cena, pretend like it's all okay because you pay my wage John Cena, was what we saw on the surface level. But brewing down below, we didn't know all this time that maybe there was a crack inside there, and that crack is finally surfaced. That John Cena, the real man behind the smiling and the autographs and stuff like that, really was brewing a darkness that he couldn't contain any further. And at this point, it's like, well, I've only got one more shot at this. To hell with everybody who wants to shake hands and kiss babies anymore. Get out of my way. I'm on a mission, and my mission ends with gold.
No, I get it. And again, I understand that, but like, I don't believe any bit of it, because that's a story written. Like, I don't believe John Cena truly, as a human down deep, disliked taking pictures with children, disliked going and doing the wishes and everything. I know down deep in that man's heart, he loved all of that. I understand from how it's a storyline being written. I know that man doesn't hate any bit of it, because I just can't. I don't believe that man a man doesn't do what is like 1,000 wishes without actually enjoying being that person. You know what I mean? You don't do that without that truly being real self. But
up until 6 months ago, Hollywood felt the same about Ryan Reynolds. Now, not so much.
I still like him.
In the lack of costume change, part of why we aren't buying it, and that is why Hollywood.
No, not even remote. Normally, yes, but no, for Cena. And the best part is he explained it. He's like, you want new music. You want me to change. I'm not changing. I'm doing the same thing I do. And the best line, one of the best lines of his promo is, you dress like me. I don't dress like you losers.
Yeah,
that's
I appreciate that part. Like, I appreciate him not coming out in that look. Yeah.
Currently.
Okay, whatever. But like, I look at it and I go, I appreciate him not changing and him not like. I was like, oh, I wanted Hollywood Cena, but I didn't get it. But because he didn't come out doing that and running down to the ring, I'm like, oh, he's keeping his look, but I appreciate what he's doing. I wanted something different. And again, I think a lot of fans, we all book in our heads from what we wanted. And I am not one of them. I have to, I'm mad at it because then what I want. I enjoyed everything up until I feel a disingenuity in the turning on the fans that supported him part. But that's a personal feeling. But they're doing a good job at getting Cena to where he needs to be to truly be Cody's rival. Now, I know Bobby's going to talk about it. The other half of all of this is Cody. But I'm going to let Bobby speak on that one.
Oh, well, I mean, my only problem, don't get me wrong, I'm 100% behind Cody all the way. I like the guy. But when you have a guy that goes out at your last premium live event and drops a line like, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself, and you get that level of energy from him, and then 3 dudes beat the living piss out of him, like just embarrass him over and over and over again, and you have one John Cena standing in the ring. No Rock, no Travis Scott, nowhere. No mention of them. And all of a sudden Cody comes out nonchalant. And Ed and I were talking about it being like what John Cena would have. He wouldn't have gone to fists right away. But I just feel with Cody's situation is they're showing that fire with what he did and how he stood up to The Rock, and then he comes out nonchalant. I really wish at this point, even if no one necessarily knew Cody was going to throw fists, if he came down, maybe cutting the promo on the microphone as he's walking, no music, just straight up cutting that promo as he's walking down towards John Cena. And as he does it, he starts to say, drop his suit jacket and stuff like that, giving the impression like, man, I'm going to jump this guy because, to hell with him. And then you start having people from the back kind of like, no, we aren't having this. We aren't having this. The whole time Cena's calling him on. Cena's calling, come get it. I'm right here. Got a thing. I think it would have built more fire to this thing is all I'm saying. I mean, aside from that, the Cena portion of it was great. I know as much as Ed loves Hulk Hogan, his heel turns. Yeah, fuck the Hulk Hogan. I agree.
But secretly, Ed has his Hulk in his boa in his closet. But he's hiding it away because of his shame now.
We're not going to get into stupid ass Hogan.
But Cody came out and went into his entrance. I'm like, really? Like when he started getting in and did kneel down and whoa. I'm like, well, I love that, and I love being part of it once. That was not the point to do it. If he come out with his music playing, but just came out holding the belt, but just had this like intense look on his face and just walked for the ring. He didn't need to cut the promo on the way, but being intense. But I just felt like, it's this. Hey, so to give a comparison, John Cena throughout a lot of his career was smiley John Cena. When everybody would something, he just smiled and went on with it. Cody didn't do the same thing. He wasn't smile and move on, but it felt like that push away almost. Like Cody came out, did his entrance, cut a promo, which was okay. Feel like it didn't have the gravitas it needed to for that moment. Yes, I know they still got 5 weeks to build. They started out hot with Cody pissed at this dude for what he did, or like come out and say, you broke my heart, you were my hero, like it something of that sort. You know what I mean? Like I looked up, like again, I know I look up to, but like to truly be like affected by it, but didn't look like he was affected by it. And that's where this one was like, oh, come on, Cody. It was like he had a great promo already, but then the follow-up was just like, okay, whatever. Like Friday was nothing. There was nothing, not this Friday, but the Friday before, he literally came out, did nothing for a promo. And then Monday's response was, I was expecting a lot more out of him. Like more passion, more gravitas to the situation, but it didn't feel that way. He just like came out and said, stop being a whiny bitch, and left. That's all it really was in the end.
Now,
the Cody thing left a bit to be desired. But again, I think we have time to do all of those fun things.
Now,
the build-up.
How do you get more heat on John Cena without him actually having to, make Cody look like a chump over and over again by beating him down week after week leading into WrestleMania? Is there I know I've seen one from people online a little bit, and I kind of agree with them. Is there a way you guys can logically think to add some extra heat to John Cena right now?
I have one, but it does involve a beatdown. So John Cena's in the ring. He gets getting shitty. He calls out Cody, says, "Come fight me, Cody." And Cody comes out. John Cena slides out the ring like playing the chicken shit heel. And then in comes Travis Scott, and he knocks out Cody Rhodes. That's how you get more heat on John Cena, because he has Travis Scott do his fighting for him.
So I have an idea for this one, and it's a long shot, but I think it's there. What if on Raw in the build-up to Mania, because we know John's going to be at a good percentage of the Raws from here on out.
He's
What
not.
if we
He's
do
not
Jo-
scheduled for. He's not scheduled for any of the Americans after the European tour. He is not listed for.
Oh,
any
really?
Of them.
He's not on
only
any of
listed-
the US shows?
I guarantee you he'll get added, but as of right now, he's only advertised for the European dates.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say the way that I would do it is
I got that from
would
Post Wrestling and Wrestling Observer. Both have reported that.
All right. I would put him. I'd put him in the ring with Jey Uso. To be honest with you, I think that's what you do. I think you put Cena in the ring with Jey Uso.
But again, that's going to hurt the Jey Uso program, and
No,
that program's
you don't-
already like at best. I wouldn't take that shot, man.
I think
First
the
one.
crowd loves Jey Uso enough in the arena, regardless what the internet says. I think the crowd in the arena loves Jey Uso enough, especially with that match not getting a finish. You either have Cody run down or you have Gunther run down. You don't pin Jey Uso for any reason whatsoever.
As long as Jey Uso's not losing a match to John Cena.
Oh God, no! Oh no!
Yeah, okay. I thought maybe you were saying like you want Cena to beat him, and I'm like, we'll destroy.
No!
him.
I just want him to
That
wrestle.
hurts Gunther.
Yeah.
That hurts Gunther in the end.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one from Ophelia. Pop up Ophelia.
This is what I was going with too. It was like here, you see, again, when you say Jey Uso, he's got too much going on leading into WrestleMania. It starts to muddy the situation of that unless you're going to have some sort of tag team, like champions on both sides. Again, it muddies it a little bit too much, but the low-hanging fruit, the easy pick right here is exactly what Ophelia is saying is R-Truth. The childhood hero John Cena beats down poor R-Truth, who is beloved by the entire universe. Again, you can do these kind of things with Truth because he's in a position to take that kind of beat down. He's sympathetic. It's not going to change his position on the card. Let's not kid ourselves. He doesn't have anything necessarily going on leading into WrestleMania either. He's a good pick along this pathway to get that level of heat to really make John Cena that much more cynical. And it has to be a beatdown. Like he has to hurt him kind of thing. So people are really just disgusted by John Cena at the end of it. And not only are they disgusted by him, but at the point where the fear strikes. It's like now this is a vicious John Cena. This is an aggressive John Cena. This is the kind of John Cena that will stoop to any level to make sure that Cody does not walk away with the championship at WrestleMania. And when that doubt starts to sink in, now you've got yourself a championship main event.
And again, I feel like that's a very strong place to do color because I know WWE can do a lot of color. Do color. Have him beat R-Truth to a point where he busts him open. He's bleeding. Like I don't need it to be like excessively gross, but like it helps sell. Like he doesn't need to be gushing and like Ric Flair at his height. He doesn't need to Ric Flair this shit in the 80s. But like have a bit of blood come out, have him be beat down. Like that would be a really strong way because like I honestly I don't care who you are. If you say you don't like you're lying to me. The man is the most entertaining wrestler. You're lying to yourself if you say you hate R-Truth. R-Truth has there's points where I found R-Truth annoying at times with certain things he's done. Don't get me wrong, but I still love him. He's still R-Truth, and the dude getting his ass just beaten like that and left bloodied in the middle of a ring, and this is where do this in a couple weeks. Have Cody, and then Cody makes the save. He has, and he has but they get pulled apart by security and everything. And again, that gives Cody more fire. That it just the crowd hates Cena for it. It just I would love that.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect idea.
Last notes for WWE-ish stuff. Before we move on, it has been made official apparently, according to the internets and viable sources on the internets. Braun Breaker versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship on tomorrow night's Raw. or tomorrow afternoon's Raw, I should say.
Oh yeah,
Are we leading for? Are we leading for
The
a
multi-person
multi-man?
intercontinental. I think it's a multi-person intercontinental match at the paper at Mania.
So we're getting a multi-man intercontinental one night, and we're going to get a multi-person U.S. title on the other night, aren't we?
No, I think the multi-person intercontinental, the U.S. title might be on the women's side.
Oh, okay. And then tag titles, we're getting a ladder match, aren't we?
Probably.
I don't even think the U.S. title is going to get for the men's U.S. title will get featured on WrestleMania. It'll be on
it'll be featured on SmackDown.
It'll be SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be the SmackDown.
But like the
and with
WWE,
good, with good reason because they ain't
tag
got
titles
shit
are the
going on
ladder
for that title right now.
Braun Strowman
That's
versus what, Bobby? Bobby, you have to let Braun Strowman versus LA Knight.
Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the fucking bear.
You don't want Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman versus LA Knight for the U.S. title in the main event of WrestleMania?
No. See, again, with Fatu and LA Knight, they had something. They had a decent match going into things. Braun versus LA Knight, like, come on. Like, seriously. Like, Braun he's a gimmicky attraction at best. Like, a bit, again, this is not a slight at Braun, like Adam Shearer, the actual person behind him. I think that he himself is a great dude, everything like that. But his gimmick it's just beat down and worn out and boring and just uninteresting. Like the knockout thing that they did with him and Jacob before, fine. But now you've gone on from that to have Braun eliminate him from a Royal Rumble. Now Braun's beating him. Like, Jacob's taking losses at this point, whether by disqualification or anything like that. But you've got this guy who's being pushed like a beast, or the idea is to push him like a beast. And now you've pulled him back about 5 steps down the ladder all of a sudden. And it's like, why? Why did you do that? Him with the U.S. title would have been a great opportunity, at least for now, before he's up into that main event picture. You know, I know that you can make the argument, oh, they're leaning towards this expanding and it's him and Solo and stuff. And it's like, okay, I get it, but they could have played the slow game a little bit on that, like just a touch. I mean, we don't need to go. I mean, I understand there's another phase of the bloodline to come and everything like that, but it didn't have to happen ASAP.
Yeah. And lastly, for WWE-ish related news, failed WWE superstar Gable Steveson, failed NFL player Gable Steveson, went back to college and lost the national title yesterday. 5-4 decision.
Ouch.
Yep. He lost the national title last night, so now he's a failed NCAA champion as well in his final year of eligibility.
Yeah. Again, did anybody
so
expect him to go back and be successful though? No.
And also, Bobby, I need you to explain to me, what in the TNA is this shit going on in Canada?
What?
This is a church.
Really?
Okay.
What in the TNA is this bullshit?
I don't understand. No,
Now,
You're saying this is happening in Canada?
this is posted by Kimberly Ford, so I'm going to assume Canada.
Yeah, she's in Ontario, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know if she took this or if this is just a photo she saw, but like, what? Those ring ropes aren't even.
Yeah, but
Like-
again, I don't think it's that. Dude, it's the camera angle. The way the camera's facing, it trust me, they're all even. It's just the way the camera's facing. It's off.
I don't think it can be. Look at
No,
those
it's
two
off.
in the back. Is there any way those two in the back are as like? What?
I'm almost sure that's. I could be wrong.
That's her.
Is it best? Is that best?
Yeah.
Or
Best.
Boo or whatever? Is that Boo? Is that Boo?
What's that?
Best entertainment ring? Is that Boo?
Oh, BW. That's what he was saying. I mean, I don't know what would be going on there. I mean, the 6-sided ring to begin with really is not the greatest, in my opinion. It was done for the sake of being different. It was different for the sake of different was what it was. It wasn't really effective. And I could imagine, like, and I've heard it before too, and some people reporting it, like hitting those ropes, it's going to be a lot tighter and everything like that. And you got to think about your different steps and everything that just doesn't.
Peggy's saying there's U.S. flag in the picture. Peggy's saying the U.S. flag in the picture. I didn't see that.
Oh,
it's probably in the
States. There's the U.S. flag back there.
Uh-huh.
So what in the United States of what the fuck is going on, Ed?
Destination 6 Pro Wrestling. Hold on. I'm doing some investigating here. Give me a moment.
Unless this place that have worshipped in Canada and they're just like, to hell with it, we'll just put the American flag up.
I guess those guys are ready to come to 51st State, but we're not.
Here we go. Destination 6. Yeah, this is a U.S.-based promotion. It's in Georgia.
So what
Illinois.
What's in the United States of what the hell is going on, buddy?
I agree. This is fucking ridiculous.
Blame Canada.
I feel like there's probably it might have been using a filter like those weird pull up, but again, I could be wrong.
No, I'm looking at this place's official photos.
In the ring is fucked like that?
Yeah, it's fucked like that. Hold on.
That's bad.
I'm sorry. Let me put this actual again. I think this might be a great wrestling company, but my God, they need to work on their visibility here.
Yeah.
But this is the actual website for this pro wrestling company.
Yeah,
that's not even.
That doesn't look as oblong as the other one did, though.
No.
I don't think it's even. What the fuck?
Like the one side is long. It's the one side is.
There's a long side on these two sides.
Okay, so to defend this, from wrestlers that I would talk to that used to come to Alberta that have wrestled in a TNA ring, the old 6-sided.
Yeah,
that ring was one of the worst rings to ever bump in, from what I've heard, because how the supports were built, there was like barely any give.
Yeah.
Now they might have thought, okay, the 6 sides are cool, but then edited it to make the one side longer so they could do proper, maybe a better support system in the middle to give more give to the ring. Maybe that's why it's built with the 2 long sides, just to give a better bouncing system in there. I don't know. But again, that's the only reason I could think why you would make that side longer, is maybe to give it a better give.
Or just to fit the shape of the building that they're in, which, again, if they're not working that particular building, it kind of defeats the purpose. So.
Oh, I was watching some video. There's some video on Facebook, and it was, I think Peggy might have sent it to me. It was it was pro wrestling in a church, but it was not that church. But they were in this church, and it looked, the way they had it lit, it looked so cool. It looked like the coolest place to do professional wrestling. It was either Peggy or Mel that sent that to me.
Yeah, I prefer McWigan's comment where he says he prefers the Cosmo Center as his house of worship, which is where we hold our PPW shows. So,
well, I've never heard of a Cosmo Center. Okay.
Well, that's because you've never been down to Saskatoon and found out just how special it is when you get into the Cosmo Center. Just saying.
You know what? Let's end this show with one thing we can all agree on. It's better when we don't have Mark here.
I disagree.
Well, that's because you don't have.
I like Mark. Mark's a good dude.
It's fun.
I'm contractually obligated to say that Mark is a nice person.
Well, all right. With that said, Andre, what do you got coming up and where can the people find you?
You can find me this coming Wednesday. I will be hosting Marvel Talk because Ed decided to go and make his life better. So he will not be there. So it will be myself joined by the lady in the chat, Ophelia Payne. Peggy will be joining me on Wednesday night. Probably be about an 8:20 to 8:30 start time because Peggy is doing a live stream of Dynamite every Wednesday. So there will be probably about 8:20, between 8:30, we'll be getting started. So come check out the Daredevil.
Mountain time.
Now,
10 p.m.
So
10:30 Eastern.
10:20 to 10:30 Eastern. Sorry, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. you can find us chatting episodes 5 and episode 6 of Daredevil on Marvel Talk. You can find me back here next as I chat more random topics about sports and professional wrestling with you guys, and hopefully Mark next week. So yeah, hopefully I'll be back. Like hopefully I'll be back next week. You never know. Shit might go down. You never know. And then yeah, you can find me in Blue Sky at that Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at that Canada Dude. And yeah, so check me out. Look forward to coming back here next Sunday and chatting more randomness and all this stuff with you guys next week.
Perfect. Ed, how about yourself? Where can the people find you and reach out to you?
I mean, you know what? Since I'm not doing anything this week, I'm going to go ahead and publicize Peggy. Down here, you can follow her at _Ophelia_Payne. You can find everything at her link tree. She does all kinds of great watch-alongs for, I believe, typically Raw, NXT, and Dynamite. So go ahead and check out all of that content over there. She's a wonderful person to follow. She always has some great stuff on Twitter and Blue Sky. So go ahead and follow all of that down there. I'm pretty much off for the week. I may or may not be back here next Sunday morning. So go ahead and check that out. Make sure you check out Astrid this Tuesday on Taking Over, as she will be either by herself or with a guest. So she can go ahead and take care of that. As Andre said, check out Andre and Peggy as they go ahead and take care of Marvel Talk for me while I have my gastric sleeve surgery to hopefully improve my life.
There we go. Ed, hopefully all the best to you during that time, and get back soon, get better soon. As for myself, down below, that's where you can reach me at Real Bobby Munson on the X, Video Bros SK on the other ones. And yeah, what do I got going on? Well, every Saturday you can catch me Prairie Pro Wrestling with Papa Smokes, calling all the action. We just had a new match drop yesterday. So go check it out. Go like, follow, subscribe over there. As well as Point of View next Sunday. And then this Thursday night is the big topic. It is Ring Respect Radio's WTF Do We Know About Wrestling Trivia Night. And this one, it is Ladies Night. So this one, it's because International Women's Day was here in March. We are going to do a full panel of women competing on screen for a women's based charity for the donation this month. So that is what you're going to be able to find out this Thursday. Check all the socials of OLE Podcast, where you can find out me making announcements throughout the week about who's going to be joining us on that particular panel. So go follow OLE across all social media, YouTube and Twitch, where you like, follow, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we're always checking those, as well as turn on that notification bell so you know when we have new material coming out from all the great, wonderful contributors that we have from across the globe. That is going to be it for us here on Point of View. Thank you for tuning in on another Sunday. Have a great rest of your day. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you in a week's time.